So I see that the Virginia Supreme Court has denied the Attorney General's motion to certify the redistricting referendum results. Results that would have given the Democrats a 10-1 advantage concerning the state's congressional maps. It was a circuit court judge who ruled last week that the referendum and the results were unconstitutional, right? And the court will not be putting a stay on their ruling. Now, I had my doubts and felt kind of iffy that the court would prevent the certification of the results. And it does seem like the urbanized Democrats want to intermeddle with the traditions, best interests, and culture of the rural right, the less urbanized. And some people may talk along the lines of how there's no such thing as a blue state, just a bunch of blue cities trying to tell the red how to live. Nowadays, I'm having trouble seeing partisan dominance as the answer to many various problems. A lot of what's going on in politics is just theatrics anyway. But this document right here, that's not a formality. That's not some symbolic writing. People from any part of the political spectrum could give lip service to the Constitution. I'm not denying that it is the American civic responsibility to stay up to date with current affairs, headlines, and such. Democracy has the makings to become a form of mob rule for the wholesale elimination of competition and disenfranchisement of people who don't agree with them over the line. I see myself as a Western values-loving conservative who's not big on big government and big business, systematic overreach. What I care about primarily is living out the American dream pristinely how it's been presented, as well as enjoying my fundamental rights and freedoms, which is the government's job to provide an environment for us where the best is brought out of us as individuals and communities with all these ideals in mind. It should be the parents' job to be parents and not have the system raise and teach their kids. Parents need to be mindful and vigilant as to what their kids consume content-wise. Drugs off the streets. We need a healthier food supply, a sense of loving and meaningful community. We need to get back in tune with the laws of nature the best we can. It does seem like the Industrial Revolution was the best and worst thing to happen. Infatuated with convenience and innovation. I keep on saying statements such as having the wrong priorities produces the wrong character, and convenience can be a gateway drug. I'm not trying to preach or impose my views on anybody. I'm not radical nor utopianist either. Once it's realized that there is no substitute for individual accountability, being a deliberate participant in your own destiny, once you realize that nobody's coming to save you, how the false left-right paradigm works, once you realize that corrupt systems will not allow competition to be generated against themselves. After all, why would you want to empower those you wish to exploit? Save for divide and conquer if you're like this kind of system people. Once you realize that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, it becomes natural to want to reframe your mind, get curious, and find meaning, purpose, and better roles to fill in this life. Okay, so the sour cream was under the cheese all along. Taco night. I'm a big fan of philosophy and stuff. Not to go so far when I talk about things like politics and faith, but sometimes I'll speak on those matters as I see fit. I have an ever-developing worldview to study up on spiritual matters, philosophy, including self-improvement, holistic wellness, motivation, gems of wisdom where I can find them. No matter what's going on in our respective realities, there are always diamonds to be found in the rough, so to speak. I like this book. This book is kind of like having my own soul read back to me in an engaging and understandable way. To me, the biggest lie in the world is the less you know, the better. I also have the first 3 books by Dr. Nicole Pera, the holistic psychologist, on Kindle, on the Kindle app, and I also got her 4th one recently, Reparenting the Inner Child. She was the one who authored How to Do the Work. That was her first one, and a New York Times bestseller. What I'm trying to say is, in a world where things are not as they appear, self-mastery and self-actualization are very important. The book I read is probably controversial, but The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. In spite of any doctrinal differences, I think that there are some really helpful things in that book. While making this video, I should probably talk about depression. Depression and anxiety, I am super familiar with both of them. But I'm now of the belief that these things are like dashboard indicators that something's wrong and something needs to be adjusted, not life sentences. We have unmet needs and unprocessed traumas, whether we realize them or not. Once you start getting to the root of things, instead of just snipping off the branches of symptoms, get ready, a whole new world awaits you. By no means am I claiming to have everything all figured out. No. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning to believe in myself, to trust my intuition, my inner voice, that my worth and value do not have to be decided for me, that I don't have to be relegated to the back seat all my life if I choose not to. And I like that saying, where there's a will, there's a way. There's another saying that goes, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. But with all that in mind, we got to realize that we shape our own realities. And sometimes it seems like I cannot shine my own light without triggering somebody else's demons, but I still got to keep telling myself that other people's triggers are not my responsibility. And that it's not possible for me to be on the same intellectual, philosophical, and emotional bandwidth as everybody else. Not all of us have the same, what Marcus Aurelius would call ruling faculties or executive functions. And we're all going to be diverse and unique in our own ways. Many backgrounds, many cultures, many ideals. That's the human experience. That's objective reality. And just as, like I said, sometimes truth can be stranger than fiction, sometimes reality can be a roller coaster from being pleasant to unpleasant. Mm-hmm.